We're back.
We're back.
Today, we're going to talk about Law Number 6 from the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And on this one, Law Number 6, it says court attention at all costs. Court attention at all costs. Everything is judged by its appearance. What is unseen counts for nothing. What do you think about that?
I agree.
Yeah?
I agree. Because if you read a little further, there's a part that says, never allow yourself to get lost in a crowd. Okay? And
Be conspicuous and stand out.
yeah. Yeah, how is somebody going to notice you if you're one of the bunch? Right? So you have to do something
To
different.
stand out. Yeah.
Something
Wear a
different.
purple shirt, do something.
Whatever the case, something different. Okay? And you stand out, and people will remember you because of that. And then one day, they may call you because of that. I remember a lady that was in the title insurance business. And I remember that we were doing a marketing event, and somebody needed help in the kitchen serve the coffee. And I thought, hey, that's a great idea because everybody's going to come to the window and I'll be serving coffee. So I'll be able to say hello to everybody. And I have my badge and they know what I do for a living. And so I immediately volunteered. Okay? But at the same time, another lady volunteered almost as quickly as I did. And the both of us served coffee to probably 150 to 100 and God knows 150 to 160 realtors, and they all came to the window because the window was that's how you dispatch the coffee, and then they went and grabbed the donut. And I would volunteer all the time for that, and this lady also volunteered. And she was in the title business, and I remember telling her, hey, I that's great, you volunteer, and so did I, this and that. And something happened, and one of the realtors said, oh, well, if you take off your glasses because they got a little wet or something, and, it's not a big deal. And she says, oh, no, my glasses are my business card. They're my motif. Wait. And
Her trademark or something.
her trademark, that's the word she used. And she said, they're a particular type of glasses. And since she said that, I have never seen another title person with glasses like that. And she was right. It is her trademark. And every time she gets new glasses, she makes sure that she gets identical glasses. And that's a thing that I don't know if it's a mental hack or not, but man, that gave her a lot of energy. And by the way, she's a marathon runner. And she knows who you are, and so we worked many years together.
I mean, it's a way of, I guess, having something unique, right? Or standing out. Like you see some people, we know a gentleman also in real estate that would drive a yellow Hummer.
Yeah.
He bought a yellow Hummer, driving it around town, and it stuck out like a sore thumb. And he was courting attention. He had his logos on that Hummer. It was the big H2 Hummers, not the H1
I remember when he got it.
Yeah, the H2 Hummers.
I insured him.
Yeah, this is in the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
And that big old yellow thing, that was a way of courting attention. But
even today, he got himself recently, I think, a Rolls Royce, but it's not
he's a master at it.
He's a master
at law number 6.
Yeah, law number 6. No doubt about it. We should send him this podcast.
So,
his first name is Mike, right?
Yeah, there's something about it that, Robert Greene goes further into saying that it doesn't have to be good attention.
Oh.
It's just attention. And you think of some people that have risen and become
infamous.
Look at the most recent would be Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
who courted attention, at all costs, and he was saying things that were really controversial, and I think intentionally to get attention. And I mean, now who knows what's going to end up happening to him, right? He's in jail at the moment. But look how popular he became, at least in the world of the internet. See, that's one thing that people don't realize, and I didn't even realize, that there are people that don't go on the internet and are not on social media and are not on YouTube and are not on these algorithms, but we think that's reality. So, like, you can ask somebody about Andrew Tate, they have no idea who he is because they're not in that world. They're not online. But to someone else who lives in that world, we're always online and we use social media and all these things. It's like, how do you not know who that is?
Well, see, the thing is, I think that social media today is important in a marketing aspect, but I also think it's very superficial for anything else that's related to life. I mean,
Right.
if you're talking about marketing, okay, I buy it. But if you're spending hours upon hours on social media, I don't see how you can have any self growth.
Well, you can learn a lot.
Yeah,
You,
and
I
I
mean,
am.
yeah, you can learn a lot, but then you also have to be productive and create something yourself. I think is what it comes down to.
You're
You
right,
know.
and I do learn a tremendous amount from YouTube, but I'm specific. If I want to, for example, somebody gave me a quote the other day and I didn't know what these bearings were, that you have to stick them in the ground for X amount of pressure and this and that. So I got on YouTube and it led me to this gentleman who's an engineer, and he explained uh, exactly what I needed to. I mean, that kind of information is
Yeah.
tremendous nowadays.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do learn a lot, but because I'm specific to a goal, you know.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so
So that's the thing with courting attention. I mean, we see it in business a lot. You see it in
yes,
a business setting.
yeah,
People drive a specific car to court
yes,
attention. They dress a certain way
yes,
to court attention.
yeah,
Even down to the pen that you use,
yes,
the watch that you wear,
absolutely,
everything. It's
yeah.
at the end of the day, some people they play it really well, and it does get attention
It does
because
get
people
attention.
like the flashy. Some people are. I mean, shoot, it's flashy. But what do they say? That not everything that it shines is gold. Is that how it
Correct.
goes?
Yeah. Not everything that shines is gold.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, then, eh, it is what it is. Whatever you're into. I
Yeah.
believe that law number 6, uh, there's a lot of value to it, because if you're starting out, you do need to stand out somehow.
Hmm.
Whether we're talking about superficial things, wearing a watch, wearing clothing, the car you drive, that's really what it boils down to, is how much value do you really bring to the table? What are your skills? Because look, you can stand out, but at the end of the day, if you're not good at what you do, whatever it is you're trying to stand out in,
Right.
you know,
Right.
you're not going to get far, because people are going to realize that you don't know what you're doing, or you're not the best, right? And so people
That's a good point. I think
will not
so.
do business with you.
Yeah. In terms of gaining power, Robert Greene is saying that this is a way to get it. You gain power by courting attention, but like you're saying, you also have to be good at what you do.
You do.
Or
Otherwise,
yeah, it's not gonna last.
the bottom line, and I got this on social media, and I hope I don't butcher it, but there's a gentleman that came out and says, look, you want to be successful? There's 2 things that you must do. Okay? Find something that you are good at, something that you have a knack for. Like, for example, if you're good at numbers and you're good at engineering, maybe you can build things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you sing because you have a voice that the good Lord gave you, and then you can cultivate it by some lessons or whatever, or if you play the piano and you can, you have a knack. So what you do is find something that you like, that you're good at naturally, okay? And then get really, really, really good, really, really, really good at it, and develop skills beyond the average person, okay? And then take that gift and see how you can solve a problem for someone. You're done. You will rise to the top faster, and that's it. That's what this guy was saying.
Yeah.
Because listen, there are guys that, look, people could tell from the beginning that Messi had something for soccer, okay? Now Messi, to his credit, he says, hey, the good Lord gave me this. And sure, over the years, I, with some training and hard work, I made it what it is today, but I had a little bit to do with it. The good Lord had a lot to do with it, okay? Right. So that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you have a God-given gift, and you just have to polish it a little bit. And it's and I think that everyone in this world has a gift. And all they need to do is identify it. And if you do that, you're going to stand out. Law number 6, no matter what. Okay?
Well, actually, you brought up Messi. It's interesting because he doesn't really want that much attention. At least in his career, from what I've seen, he's not what everybody compares to Cristiano Ronaldo, who is always trying to get attention.
Right.
So it's interesting if you compare the two. Messi is just, let me do what I do, play soccer, less attention, less about, showing his family and things like that, or the things he does. And Cristiano Ronaldo is more showy.
Yes.
So he's got more attention, let's say. And does he have more power?
I think those two guys are at the pinnacle of their...
it's hard to say.
Yeah. Those two guys that you mentioned are at the pinnacle of their careers, and they both have done exceptional things.
Yeah.
Then after that, then it becomes a lifestyle. And you choose the lifestyle. And you've said it many times, Pitbull, he's definitely an attention getter, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's very private with his family.
Right.
And you've said it many times, that he has been questioned on that or interviewed on that, and he said, hey, I picked this life, but my family did not. So he keeps his family, and some people find a way to keep that separate.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I entirely agree with this law.
Okay.
Like, I think it could be used and I guess it's kind of like a toolkit. It's like you have all these different laws that Robert Greene states, and you use them at certain times when you think it's appropriate. Even some of the laws seem to somewhat contradict each other. So I think that you use them when it's appropriate, but I don't know. It was a debate that we had, or a conversation we had a long time ago, where I think I had achieved some sort of sales numbers, and I remember we were talking about it. We made a video and said, do you let your numbers do the talking, or do you let people know what you've achieved? And I think courting attention is speaking out to a certain way, letting people know what you achieved. And the other one, let the numbers do the talking. But if people don't even see it, like I think he said, you'll go unnoticed, right?
Yes.
And I think that's true. It is true to a certain degree. But that attention comes at a cost, because now you got a lot of eyes on you. I think that's the other side of it. That it will come at a cost, because now, people are going to maybe hold you accountable. You got more attention, more eyes on you. And some people don't want that. Some people want to be, let's say, under the radar.
Yeah, well, I can definitely relate to that one, the last one.
Yeah.
That's what I was taught most of my young life, you know.
Yeah.
Then I got into business. And in business, you know, some people want to see what you've been able to accomplish before they try you out,
It's true.
because
It's true.
they might have been burned before by
Yeah.
somebody that didn't know their trade properly.
It's correct. That's correct.
And you know, look, I remember a story one time. I went to insure this gentleman. He was very successful. He had a computer company, and I'm talking about 28 years ago. And he um, the the building that he owned, it was for his entire company, and he had central processing, CPU, parts of computers all over the place, and he had technicians and this and that. But his office faced the parking lot, and there was a beautiful view beyond the parking lot. It was a mountain and stuff like that. But everybody that had to come to his building had to park in front of his office, and he had a big, huge window. He could see out, but people could not see in. Okay, and he was a little materialistic, and he would check everybody that came to his place of business what they were driving, what kind of vehicle they were driving. Okay, and if you were driving anything under a Mercedes, you potentially didn't have a good chance with him. Okay, now I didn't drive a Mercedes. Okay, I drove a regular vehicle. I don't remember exactly what car I drove when I went to see him. And I still got the job done. He still gave me a chance, and I came through. Years and years later, he told me, you know, I remember the day you walked into my office because I broke a rule with you that I never break with anybody. And I'm glad that I did, Pablo. And I said, well, what rule is that? And he said, you know, if you weren't driving a BMW or a Mercedes or something like that, you wouldn't get the job with me. And you drove up into my parking lot, and I could see you, and you were not in any of those vehicles.
Yeah.
And yet, when you came in, you made a good presentation, or it's something that you said I liked.
Yeah.
And I found out years and years later.
Interesting.
And so some people will judge you by what you drive, by what you wear, and so forth. And so in that case, I think this law, I know you're saying you may not agree with some of it, but I would say yes.
Yeah.
Because you have to dress the part. You have
Yeah.
to a certain extent, dress the part.
Yeah. I mean, it's what is it? First impression.
Yeah,
You know, is important.
it's important.
And it's not only what you're wearing; it's also how you carry yourself and how you speak, and the fact that if you know something, you say it. If you don't, you say I don't know or whatever. All of that is very important. But in terms of catching people's eye, I do see what he's saying. You know, and you know, he's saying never let yourself get lost in the crowd.
Right.
Or be buried in oblivion. Stand out, be conspicuous at all costs. Make yourself a magnet of attention by appearing larger, more colorful, more mysterious than the bland and timid masses.
I don't know.
You know, it's interesting. It's interesting. Well, remember in was it The Art of War by Sun Tzu? There was he had a strategy where I don't know if it was the drums that he would play and the flags that he would have up in his army, and he would make it seem that his army was 10 times bigger than what it really was. He had like these strategies that he would use, and so it's intimidating, and it's the loud drums and everything, and it would scare the opponent. And you appear larger, more colorful, more mysterious than the bland and timid masses. It in business, I see the value of it because, let's say you're at a networking event.
Yes.
How do you stand out? Is it? But you know, maybe it's looking good and everything. But let's say everybody's dressed sharp.
Everybody's dressed
So
sharp.
how do you stand out? It's what you say, how you carry yourself, or the remark, something that you say, which you're good at connecting with people quickly, and they'll remember you. Whether it's somehow you relate to them with something that you both have mutual interest in, right?
Well, yeah. For example, every time I went to someone's office, one of the things that I would look for would be family pictures, or if they had something on the walls that said that they like football or they like golf or something like that. And then I would, in the process of introducing myself and this and that, I would mention, oh, I see you like golf. I see the trophy there. And then,
Yeah.
what's your handicap? This and that. And so you pick something. You don't do it right away either. Okay. You do it somewhere where you feel there's a gap that you can introduce something like this.
Yeah. To
Because,
be memorable, basically.
yeah, because people will be able to pick that up. Okay. But
Sure.
essentially, find something in common with the person that you just met
Yeah.
to a certain extent. And then, they like that. You like it also. Yeah, oh, we have this in common, this and blah, blah, blah. You don't even need to say that. You don't need to say we have this in common, but, it's obvious.
Yeah.
Okay? And so, that breaks the ice potentially a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you continue on and see where it leads.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I remember and you're right, we would go to these events, everybody was dressed sharp. So how do you stand out? Well, there was a gentleman that would always invite people, because a lot of these events that we would go to that were marketing events, they would be a dinner, right? But at first, it was a cordial event to say hello to people. And so what this gentleman would do is invite someone for a glass of wine. Let's go. Let me buy you a glass of wine. Oh, no, you don't have to do that. No, it's my pleasure. Come on over. And he would take the gentleman and the wife and approach the bar and 2 glasses of wine, please. Buy a glass of wine.
Treat him to a drink or something.
He did that with everybody.
Yeah.
And I remember going up to him. He was a master at this. And it worked really, really well for him. And he was extremely successful. And I remember going up to him and saying, hey, I noticed that you do this. Do you do it all the time? And he says, all the time, religiously. And I go, wow. And he says, look, I'll share this with you since you're young. Because I was trying to learn, right? Picking people's mind. And he says, when I come to these events, I get $400 or $500 just to buy people drinks. So he would take $400 or $500 in his pocket and invite everybody that he could, that he wanted to connect with.
Right.
Because you can tell who's there also just for the meal. Some people just come to eat the meal, okay?
Yeah.
But he had a knack for that. He could pick him up,
Yeah, he could
Okay,
read the
that guy's here just for a free meal.
Yeah, he got good at.
Yeah,
at
so
reading
but this
people.
guy, he's a businessman, or this lady is a businesswoman. She's
Yeah.
not. She's here to do business, or she's not here for a free meal.
Yeah.
So he got good at knowing who those people were,
Yeah.
and he would stand out. He would never get lost in the crowd. He was dressed impeccably.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking right now of somebody on social media that he cuts only curly hair, and he's out of LA, Hollywood area, the curl doctor.
Oh yeah.
But the thing about the guy is that he wears this big hat, and that's his trademark. kind of like you're talking about the glasses or something like that. He always has this hat. It's a big old hat, and you never see him on his social media. He's got a huge following without a hat, without that hat.
Oh, and he's not on social media.
Yeah, he is. He's on social media. He has a big following.
Oh, but you never see him without the
You
hat.
never see him without it. So that's his way of, let's say, courting attention. That's his way of a trademark. And I think it is smart, you know. But
Very
now,
smart.
But now you have to wear the hat everywhere you go.
Okay, but that's okay. That he does no. I bet you he has no. If we were to interview this person, is a man or a woman? Man, right?
A gentleman, yeah.
A gentleman. He probably would tell you, "I have no problem wearing my hat."
Yeah, he probably can take his hat off and no one will recognize him. That's how much it's part of his. But it's part of
Persona.
his wardrobe, it's persona, and there's something to it.
There is, because look, you just reminded me. I'm into watches, and there's this young lady, and apparently she's only been doing this for 2 years, but she appears to be very successful. And when she's on, she catches me, and it's tough. I would say it's easy to get me with a watch. Okay, I'm not gonna say it's not,
Yeah.
but
There's so many other videos.
she wears a hat
Oh, okay.
all the time, but it's not the same hat.
But it's a hat.
It's a hat, and it's big. She's got this big old flaps things, and sometimes they're very bright green.
Interesting.
Sometimes they're red. Sometimes they're a mix of all colors, and she wears her hat. I think in the beginning, she didn't do it, but now she's got this thing with a hat, and she wears, and the hats match her outfit. And she comes out, and she seems to be a petite lady. She's young. She's only been doing this for 2 years, I think. And she comes up with that hat. And I want to see the watch, but I'm also noticing the hat.
Yeah.
That's how big of a thing she's got going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. She's standing out.
she's standing out. She really, truly is. You know, it's just like Mike with his cars, the Hummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I think he's got a Rolls Royce. But it's not a regular Rolls.
Has to be something unique.
It's
you know?
unique. It's they only made like 33 or whatever. He
Yeah.
told me something about it. I'm gonna ask him again.
I think that Robert Greene is he's done his homework, and I think a lot of these laws, especially this one, applies to business and corporate settings, and I think there's a lot of truth to it.
Yes,
For sure.
but you also said something very important, Mike, and you just said it. There are some people out there that just by their magnetism,
Mm-hmm.
they walk into a room, okay?
Yeah.
And maybe, like you said, it's the way they carry themselves,
Right.
okay? Maybe is, they've lived life, and they, seen a lot, and, they have this piercing, sight, vision. There's something about them,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that people gravitate to some of those people, and that person, she or him, does not necessarily to be the best dresser in that room, the best, but there's something about them. The minute
Right.
they open their mouth, a group gathers,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some people like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I
that
agree.
They'll come into a room and they brighten up the room, and
Yeah, they have this magnetism.
yes,
Some
yeah.
people just have it.
right,
They're just it may be touched by God somehow in a certain way that they people want to hear what they have to say.
yeah. There's another realtor out in the Inland Empire, and his thing is his hair, and he's got this thing that he flops on the metal side, advertisement that he puts on the side of his car,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got his hair. It's like it's like an Elvis kind of thing. Hopefully
Hopefully he can keep that hair going.
Hopefully, he is young, but uh, you can tell that he spends
A good amount of
a
time.
good amount of
Yeah.
time on his hair, because his hair is his trademark.
Trademark, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got it even on the on the picture on the car, and
Yeah.
it's the hair, and so
Yeah. So I think in combination, but absolutely who you are as a person, once you court the attention, is is essential too.
I think
And
so.
with that, we can wrap it up.
All right, sounds good.